Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here, and welcome to my review for the final ever Power Rangers Legacy figures from Bandai of America. The last two releases being Kira Dino Thunder Yellow Ranger from, well, Dino Thunder, and the Psycho Black Ranger from Power Rangers in Space. And of course, now that Kira's here, she finally allows us to complete the Build-A-Figure for the Thundersarus Megazord. I like how she held the most crucial piece, which was like the center body piece. So you couldn't even have like a, oh, this is kind of a cool bust figure, like, I don't know, but it's just kind of funny. So yeah, since Hasbro's taking over, unless there is some sort of crazy 11th hour surprise, which I'm not expecting, these are the last two new Legacy figures that will be hitting the shelves. Right now you can get them from like GameStop.com. I think Entertainment Earth might still have some. They should pop up on Amazon. I'm not sure about in stores. I think your best bet would be check Walgreens. That's where I've been finding all my new Legacy figures with the exception of these, which I got from GameStop. But anyway, let's go ahead and dive right into it. I'm going to start with Psycho Black because I said so. Just chronological. So, you know, very similar to the previous Psycho Rangers. I think this one's my least favorite just because it's not his fault, guys. It's a hard thing to do because he's the Psycho Black Ranger, but like the base of the body is black, so these blend together really just like a lot. That was some really good talking. I'm so glad I do reviews. This is really a lot, guys. No, I mean, even in the show it's that way, but I just don't think they did the best job. I think particularly in the head sculpt, it just really blends together. And for me, it almost comes across like they forgot to finish it. Like, I know that it's tough to do because the color on the visor is black, the helmet's black, and then you have the black visor. But just the design for the helmet is, you know, just so, you know, together. Like, it looks so blended together. It looks like they didn't finish it off. Same thing here. Again, it's kind of hard to do, and I'll give them that. If, you know, Hasbro ever does it, I'll be interested to see. But yeah, it just doesn't look the best to me. But it's in part because of its design, you know, as a character, setting aside the toy. He does come with his weapon, which is actually pretty cool looking. I mean, it's pretty hard to mess up. You just have black paint and then the silver paint. But the silver paint looks nice and shinier than the gold paint on the Gold Ranger. But it looks really cool as far as a weapon. The articulation's pretty standard. You have your hinge joint right here. You have your all-around motion, single elbow joint, swiveling, squeaky, I don't know if you could hear that, but squeaky little ball joint here, double knee joint, you got your little ball joint here on his foot, you have this hinge crunchy joint, which I'm not a huge fan of, but apparently every toy company likes that. No huge loose joint problems on it, but you know, he's fine. Again, I'll give him a little bit of a pass because it's kind of a hard one to get it so that these don't blend together so much. But it's still cool to have the Psychos, and that's something I'm going to talk about at the end. And in case you were wondering or you didn't know, we are not getting the girls. I know that they teased them, but I think it was a few months ago they came out and just straight up said, like, we didn't have time, quote unquote, to get them out, so we're not getting official releases of the Psycho Girls from Bandai America. So that's unfortunate. Here we have Kira. So the nice thing about her is that we have a complete Dino Thunder team, which is more than we can say for Ninja Storm, the first team ever released, and we never got to the Thunders. So I am happy for that. She's an overall okay figure. I kind of have her in her Ob Ranger pose here. My only real problem with her, to be honest, is the helmet looks a little off to me. This is a weird helmet because I feel like it's more slender than a lot of them, and this feels just a little bit too fat. Again, it's not a huge deal. I've seen far worse, you know, inaccurate helmets and stuff, but it's kind of just more of a nitpick. But everything else is fine. She does have that super kind of weird girl mold they have with a super tiny waist and then the, you know, the yabos going on here. But the articulation's fairly similar. No loose joint problems on here as well. The only real differences I would say are the skirt piece being kind of this hard plastic does obviously hinder your motion, and she actually has the sort of normal joint. Like, I kind of prefer the joints like this, but she can't twist her waist here, but she can do this. But I just kind of prefer this to the crunch joint personally, just toy-wise. Like, I know that a lot of toys have that, and I find it funny that I've been complaining about that, even though that's what Hasbro uses in their stuff, so that's probably what we're in for. Oh, look, the accessories just fell. So here's the accessories. You get a holster and a Thundermax blaster that's barely painted. It's pretty bad. This was honestly kind of one of the worst things about it. It didn't bother me so much in some instances, but I'm really glad that we're going to be getting figures that have actual weapons in them. Also, her morpher's not painted, so... But she's okay. Like, she's a very okay-ish figure. Now here we have the Thundersarus Megazord figure all finished up. He doesn't have the best details on him, but he's honestly kind of a cool mold. Like, I think this looks really cool. I'm kind of glad to have it, you know. Like I said, the paint's not the best on it. It could be better. Looks a little cheap, like the plastic. It looks like that McDonald's toy plastic. But I think the mold, scale-wise, is pretty well done in terms of it feeling proportionate to the show. Like in this pose, I think it looks pretty cool. Pretty decent articulation here and here. Just be careful when you're putting these on, because like these are hard plastic, and if you accidentally press against it, you could break it. The arms are the worst to get on. I don't think you can still see it, but there's like a blood blister still there. But when I was pressing these on, these are hard to get on. So be careful too, because they are known to break. But you get a decent amount of articulation here for this. So at least this is kind of a decent thing. We've definitely had some cooler things with like retrofire and stuff. And you know, when this line came out, I did like this idea of like the Megazords, but now that we've gone through all this, I think that for Hasbro, what I would just much rather see is, well, what they're doing is their figures, at least right now, don't have Build-A-Figures, from what we've been told. But I'd rather them just do kind of a, you know, Lightning Collection articulated Megazord line, like a section of that. I think that would be cool. But yeah, this is weird. These last few Legacy figure reviews have been weird to recommend or not to recommend, because for me personally, I do like owning these, even knowing the Lightning Collection is coming out. I mean, even without being a reviewer, I like collecting, like, the history of Power Rangers toys. Like, you know, that's why I own all the ones from way back when. So, like, for me personally, it's kind of a no-brainer just for my personal tastes. But if I were you, if you had all the Dino Thunder ones and you're really a huge Dino Thunder and Abba Ranger fan, then I can recommend picking her up to at least complete your team for now, because we don't know how long the release for Dino Thunder could take for Lightning. And with the Psychos, the same thing. It's kind of weird because they're not perfect figures, and I certainly think it would be something Hasbro would want to do at some point, but just, you never know what could happen with that line, and I think the Psychos are such a rare thing that if you're at all interested, I recommend picking them up. Again, these figures aren't perfect, and you know, I don't think they're the best figures to recommend, but they are some good to decent updates in certain cases. But yeah, if you really want to wait, just wait. But if you're, I guess my point is, this into this ramble, if you're on the fence in any way and you want these for any reason, I would pick them up if you really want them, and then later you can always sell them or something later or return them. But, you know, especially with the Psychos, like I said, it's kind of a weird spot, because we know, for all we know, we could get updates next year, but, you know, on the other hand, we could get updates in 2025 because they don't want to do anything terribly recent except for MMPR. But anyway, I hope that ramble made sense. It's just kind of a weird spot, more weird than usual for recommendations at the end. But anyway, until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to climb the steps and ring that bell to get notifications from my videos. Till next time, Dawson Rider, signing out.